Hi guys, and welcome to the new series that I am starting called Musical Chats. Yay for creative names. Basically, this is just a video series that I want to do where I just talk about one of my favorite things ever, which is musicals. Each video will focus on a different musical and I'll just talk about the story, the characters and the actors, different versions, like maybe like a live play version versus the movie, of course the songs, just like everything about the musical. Because I don't know a lot of people in real life that love musicals as much as I do, so this is kind of like my little outlet to like fangirl about musicals, and hopefully some of you watching will be able to like talk to me about them too, and we can just have nice discussions and just have like an outpouring of love for musicals and musical theater in general. But anyways, let's get to today's topic, which is a musical that has a very special place in my heart. It's kind of one of the first musicals I remember being exposed to, and I think it was one of the first musicals I ever saw performed live. And that musical, as you can already tell from the title, so it's not really a big surprise, is Fiddler on the Roof. So basically, my exposure to this musical was that we have a family friend who is really into like theater and stuff, and she's like an amazing singer, and she's a voice coach and everything too. She's involved in a lot of like community theater stuff in her like town, and they were going to put on a production of Fiddler on the Roof, and she got the role of Hoddle. So we decided we would get tickets and go up and see her, but my brother and I had never seen the musical before or really been exposed to it at all. So my mom went down to the library and she got the movie version of Fiddler on the Roof, and we watched that first, and then we went down and saw it performed live. So in quick succession, actually, I saw the movie version first, and then I saw the live version. And that's the only time I've ever seen it done live, and I would love to see it again, but it's actually one of the few musicals that I have seen live. And this musical is still up there in my favorites. It's probably up in my top 5. So let's get started. Let's just talk about Fiddler on the Roof. I'm ready to go. So if you've never seen Fiddler on the Roof or even heard of it or anything, Fiddler on the Roof is basically about this Jewish community in Russia in like the early 1900s, I think. And the story is kind of about the entire community, but it centers on one family specifically, and the musical kind of just highlights their struggle to maintain their culture and beliefs and values and everything in a new, changing world. And the main struggle being that this is a family of like 5 daughters. The 3 oldest want to marry for love and not because of an arranged marriage or cultural boundaries or anything like that. And it's kind of the parents' struggle to accept that and all that kind of stuff. Again, it's been a while since I've seen this, but like that's the general gist. So I looked at some facts on Wikipedia just to have, I don't know. I found out that Fiddler had the first musical theater run in history to surpass 3,000 performances. It actually held the record for the longest running show until Grease happened, and then that kind of stole the record. It won 9 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, Score, Book, Direction, and Choreography, which is crazy. It's had 5 Broadway revivals since its opening, and there's one that just finished in December, I think. Basically, the main reason I love this musical is because of the historical element. Like, growing up, I always loved historical fiction and movies and TV shows and books and all that based on that kind of stuff. That was something I kind of got from my mom because she loves historical fiction stuff too. That's the thing I love about this musical, is that I feel like I'm learning something about a different time in history and a different culture and everything through this musical. Kind of the same way Hamilton has taught me a lot about the American Revolution, and that's why I love historical fiction as a genre in general, because you learn something new without it feeling like you're learning something. So yeah, I really love the story. It's a really like heartwarming and also kind of like sad story in a way, but like the ending is so sad, and just you have such a connection to the characters, which let me get to that now. The characters are so interesting because like in any good piece of art you can find yourself in some part of all of the characters. I've always loved the characters of the 3 daughters, Seidel, Hoddle, and Hava. And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing these names or just like butchering them entirely, but I'm trying. And just like the resistance of norms, I guess, like Seidel marrying Model instead of someone who could make her richer, kind of rejecting her parents' ideas of what they want her to do, and Hoddle and Perchik, who are adorable, and Hava and that guy that I don't know the name of. I feel really bad that I don't remember his name. The guy she falls in love with, and how she basically just gets ostracized from her family because of it, but she still chooses to do that because she loves him. And that's just really interesting to me how the 3 sisters have very similar plot lines, as in like they're marrying for love rather than other reasons, but the situations are all quite different. I think Hoddle's probably my favorite character, although I love both. Like all 3 of the daughters are like up there with my favorites. I really love Seidel too. Okay, now I think it's time to talk about the best part and the most important part, arguably, of any musical, which is the music. So like I said, I was pretty young when I saw this musical for the first time, so I remember being a young kid and just like walking around the house yelling, "Tradition!" as loudly as possible. Matchmaker is like such an iconic song. I used to sing that one all the time too when I was younger. It was like one of my favorite songs for like the longest time. It's kind of like a running joke in my family now that whenever someone says sunrise, everyone being me, my mom, and my brother, start singing Sunrise, Sunset. And I mean, like, If I Were a Rich Man, of course, is amazing. Like, there's so many good songs in the musical, like, every single song is great. And I mean, all the songs really capture the vibe of, like, the setting and the story and everything, which is, I mean, obviously something a musical should do, and this one does really well. To Life or L'Chaim or whatever it's called. That's one of those songs that just like gets me pumped. Like, it's one of those ones you kind of just have to like dance to and have to sing along to. I always love the Russian part of the song where the Russians kind of come in and start singing their own little verse, except I don't know exactly what they're saying or how to say it. I just kind of pronounce it phonetically and like what I'm hearing, which is probably entirely wrong, but it's fun. I try. Now I Have Everything was like another one of my favorite songs for forever. I thought that song was just so cute when I was younger, and I was like, this is the pinnacle of love song. The Rumor song is hilarious. I have that whole thing memorized. I love that one. And then there's the two saddest songs in this musical, just Far From the Home I Love and Anatevka, which they're so like sad. At least in Far From the Home I Love, there's like a little bit of like hope, like a note of love and things will be okay once she gets to him and everything's gonna be fine. But Anatevka is just so sad. I remember being a kid and just being genuinely annoyed that the play ended just with them having to leave their home. Like, I was a little kid, I wanted my happily ever after Disney ending, and no, I got that. Which coincidentally is also how I felt about The Sound of Music, because I was also really annoyed that ended with them leaving their home as well. To sum it up, all of the songs in this musical are incredible. I love them all. I listen to the soundtrack all the time still. On Spotify I have the movie version of the songs, because that's the one that's on there. But I do have the good old CD from back in the day before iPods and Spotify and iTunes were a thing. I don't actually know what version this is. It's the original Broadway cast, apparently. I don't know which version I prefer more, if I prefer the movie version of the soundtrack better or this version. I want to say this one because that's the one I'm more used to, because I used to listen to this one all the time growing up. But I mean, they're both really great. Speaking of the movie, I want to talk about that really quickly, play versus movie. Like I said, it's been a long time since I saw it on stage, and it's also been a while since I saw the movie version. But I think both are pretty great. Seems like it's rare that a musical translates into the movie as well as it does on stage. Like, seems like every single movie musical has some sort of problems, something that people can pick apart and not like about it because it's different from the stage version. But from what I can remember, the movie version of Fiddler didn't take a lot of liberties and like stayed basically the same with the story and everything. I don't think they cut much, if anything, out. Yeah, I think it's just a really good, faithful adaptation of it, and it's a good movie too. I don't know what else to say. I can't really say anything else because, like I said, it's been a long time since I saw it, so I don't really know what else to say. So yeah, Fiddler on the Roof is always going to have a very, very special place in my heart, and it's always going to be up there with my favorite musicals. Alright, so that's it for my musical chat for today. Leave some comments down below. Talking about Fiddler on the Roof, tell me like your favorite characters, your favorite songs. Let's just talk about it. That's the whole point of these videos, is to have a nice discussion about musicals and just to kind of geek out about them with people who also love them as much as you do. You can also leave a comment down below if you want, telling me what musical you'd like me to talk about next. If I've seen it, I will talk about it. I already have a big list on my computer of the musicals I want to talk about. Let me know what kind of stuff you guys are interested in. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next week with another video. Bye! Yes, now I have everything. Not only everything. If I were a rich man, all day long I'd biddy biddy bum. If I were a wealthy man.